My dear students, welcome to the class. This is Deepak Kumar, and today I shall be taking up the second chapter, The Sound of Music, that is written by Debroth Mason Cowley. Okay, today I shall be discussing with you question and answers of the chapter. It has two parts. One is about the singer percussionist Evelyn Glennie, and the second part is about Bismillah Khan. Right, dear? So let's start. Part 1, Answers to NCERT questions. Answer these questions in a few words or a couple of sentences each. 1. How old was Evelyn when she went to the Royal Academy of Music? Evelyn was 17 years old when she went to the Royal Academy of Music. 2. When was her deafness just noticed? When was it confirmed? Answer. Her deafness was first noticed by her mother when she was just 8 years old. Her deafness was confirmed when she was 11 years old. Answer each of these questions in a short paragraph, 30 to 40 words. Number 1. Who helped her to continue with music? What did he do and say? Answer. Ron Forbes, the percussionist, helped Evelyn to pursue music. He identified her potential. He began by turning two large drums to different notes. He advised her to feel music through the different parts of her body. Question number 2. Name the various places and causes for which Evelyn performs. Apart from performing in professional concerts, she would do free concerts in prisons and hospitals. She gave high priority to classes for young musicians. Answer to the questions in 2 or 3 paragraphs, 100 to 150 words. How does Evelyn hear music? Evelyn lost her ability to hear when she was 11 years old. She experienced the magic of music by sensing the notes on different parts of her body, even through her hair. It was Ron Forbes, the percussionist, who inspired her to feel music. He turned two drums to different notes and asked her to sense the sound through the vibration. Evelyn realized that she could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. When she plays xylophone, she could sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. By leaning against the drums, she could feel the resonance flowing into her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that vibrations pass through her bare feet and up her legs. Evelyn explains that music pours through every part of her body. It tingles upon her skin, her cheekbones, and even her hair. Part 2. Pungi was a reeded noisemaker. My dear students, I am just directly telling you the answers. You can check with the help of your textbook. You need to just tick the right answers. So the first is, Pungi was a reeded noisemaker. Second, a barber transformed the Pungi into a Shehnai. Third, Bismillah Khan's paternal ancestors were professional musicians. Fourth, Bismillah Khan learned to play the Shehnai from Ali Baksh. 5. Bismillah Khan's first trip abroad was to Afghanistan. Okay? Now answer these questions in 30 to 40 words. 1. Why did Aurangzeb ban the playing of Pungi? Answer. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of Pungi because of its shrill and unpleasant sound. It became the generic name for reeded noisemaker. Question number 2. How is Shehnai different from a Pungi? Answer. Unlike Pungi, Shehnai is a hollow stem that is longer and broader. It has 7 holes on its body. When it is played by placing the fingers and closing and opening the holes on its surface, soft and melodious sounds are produced. Question number 3. Where was the Shehnai played traditionally? How did Bismillah Khan change this? Answer. The Shehnai was traditionally played in royal courts, temples and weddings. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired Bismillah Khan to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Question number 4. When and how did Bismillah Khan get his big break? Answer. Bismillah Khan got his big break with the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938. He soon became a regular Shehnai player on the radio. Question number 5. Where did Bismillah Khan play the Shehnai on 15th August 1947? Why was the event historic? Answer. On 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan played the Shehnai from the Red Fort. It was a historic day as India gained independence on that day. He became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai and pour his heart out into Rag Kafi, cherishing the freedom of the country. Question number 6. Why did Bismillah Khan refuse to start a Shehnai school in the USA? Answer. Bismillah Khan's student had asked him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Benares by replicating the temples in the city. To this, Bismillah Khan asked him if he could also transport the river Ganga to the USA. Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is remembered to have said that while he was in a foreign land, he kept yearning to see Hindustan. Question number 7. Find at least 2 instances in the text which tell you that Bismillah Khan loves India and Benares. Bismillah Khan loves India and Benares from the bottom of his heart. He says that he misses the holy Ganga and India when he goes abroad. While in Mumbai, he thinks only of the holy river and the holy city. He was not ready to leave this country on the request of his student and head the Shehnai school in the USA. Okay, my dear students, now let me discuss some in-text questions. Number 1. How did Ron Forbes influence Evelyn to listen to music and then play the instrument? Ron Forbes sensed the potential within Evelyn and motivated her to play the drums. He turned 2 large drums to different notes and encouraged Evelyn to feel the rhythm instead of trying to hear it. She soon realized that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. Question number 2. Apart from the regular concerts, where else did Evelyn perform and why? Answer. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn gave free concerts in prisons and hospitals so as to inspire the inmates. She also gave high priority to classes for young musicians so that they learn to master their skills and achieve success. She was much more than an inspiration to them. She gave enormous pleasure to millions of people. Question number 3. Evelyn turned deaf by the age of 11. So, how did she understand music and become an inspiration to millions? Answer. Evelyn explains that music poured in through every part of her body. It tingles in the skin, her cheekbones, and even her hair. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. By leaning against the drums, she could feel the resonance flowing into her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibrations pass through her bare feet and up her legs. Question number 4. What message do you get from the life of Evelyn Glennie? Answer. The message we get is never to allow adversity to come in the way of your pursuit to success. If one sense organ is damaged, make good use of the other sensory organs, but never give up hope. Life is a precious gift. It should not be wasted. We should not give up just because we don't know how to face challenges. Work towards success. Evelyn was a workaholic. She had to work harder than classical musicians because she listened through all her sensory organs. She wanted to prove to herself and achieve perfection. She was a living legend to the world of less fortunate. Long answer questions, 100 to 150 words, 8 marks each. Number 1. It was 8 years old when Evelyn gradually began to lose the ability to hear. Write a paragraph expressing the feelings that might have gone through her mind. Answer. It was on the day of the piano recital. My mother was in the audience. She noticed that something was seriously wrong when I was not responding when my name was being announced to play the piano. My mother suddenly realized that I am not able to hear. I was too young to realize the predicament or a difficult situation I was in. Gradually, the seriousness of my impairment began seeping into my mind, and I began to cry bitterly. My love for music, If I can't hear, it would be impossible to enjoy or play music. Her world seemed to come crashing down. Everything suddenly looked black. She could not spot even a faint glow at the end of the tunnel. She folded her little hands and looking at the stars that shone in the sky and cried with a heavy heart, "Why me, O Lord?" Question number 2. Has the life of Evelyn been able to motivate you in any way? Elaborate. Yes, it was a wonderful experience reading about the remarkable transformation of the deaf young girl into an acclaimed musician. It was similar to the story of Helen Keller. It was very sad to read about the progressive deterioration of Evelyn's ability to hear, and the complete impairment at the age of 11 was indeed tragic. This was especially so because of her need for the faculty of hearing, being passionate about music. Her school and family were losing all hopes of reviving the young child and her love for music. Her life seemed to be slipping into gloom, but every cloud has a silver lining, and the silver lining in Evelyn's life was Ron Forbes, who taught her to feel music if she could not hear it. The struggle that the young girl went through to develop her other senses was an example for everyone to emulate. It was exceptional to find that this young girl began acquiring honors as an exceptional musician later in her life. Question number 3. Attempt a character sketch of Evelyn. Answer. Evelyn was a determined and hardworking girl with a strong willpower. She overcame the obstacle that was placed before her by the divine. In her early childhood, she lost her ability to hear because of a nerve degeneration. At the age of 11, her hearing power was totally damaged. In spite of her handicap, she did not want to give up as music was her passion. Her teachers discouraged her, but the percussionist Ron Forbes guided her to sense and feel the music through different parts of her body. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. At the end of her 3-year course, she had captured most of the top awards. In 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. Says master percussionist James Blades, "God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully." My dear students, now let me discuss some of the in-text questions from the second part of this chapter, The Sound of Music, that is about Bismillah Khan. So, please listen this part also very carefully. The first question. How can you say Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of India's cultural heritage? Answer. Bismillah Khan was a perfect example of India's cultural heritage because he was a symbol of secularism. Despite being a Muslim, he played Shehnai at temples and at the banks of the river Ganga. He reflected India's core principle, unity in diversity. Question number 2. Who were the influencing factors in shaping Bismillah Khan as a musician? Answer. It is said that the impressionable years of one's life is the childhood, and when talent is nurtured at this stage, it has better chances of flowering to a full bloom in the years to come. Such was the case with Bismillah Khan. He took to music at an early age of 3, being in a family of musicians from his paternal and maternal side. His grandfather and father were professional musicians. He was influenced by his maternal uncle Ali Baksh, who played Shehnai at the Vishnu temple in Banaras. Question number 3. How did a reeded noisemaker get transformed to a Shehnai? Answer. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of pungi because of its jarring sound. However, a barber who belonged to a family of musicians transformed it by choosing a longer and broader pipe upon which he made a few holes. When he played on this pipe by closing and opening some holes, it produced a very melodious sound that appealed to the Shahs. Thus, the instrument, designed by a Nai and appreciated by the Shahs, got the name Shehnai. Now, long answer questions, 100 to 150 words, 8 marks each. Number 1. Justify Bismillah Khan as a true Hindustani. Answer. Music is a universal language. It knows no boundaries. Despite being a devout Muslim, he used to play and practice Shehnai in temples and on the banks of the river Ganga. He was nostalgic about his homeland. When one of his students asked him to head a Shehnai school in USA, he refused. As the student, on being asked by the Ustad if he could bring the Ganga to the USA, said that he could only attempt to create an atmosphere of Banaras, but he could not bring the river. Bismillah Khan simply couldn't bear the thought of being away from Hindustan for long intervals. On getting the Bharat Ratna, he addressed the parents and told them to teach their children Indian music, the country's richest heritage that was being appreciated and learned by the Westerners, while our nation was failing to do so. He lived and breathed Hindustan. Question number 2. Write a paragraph on the life of Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan spent his early life in Dumrao in Bihar. His grandfather was a Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. Bismillah Khan took to music early in life when he was 3 years old in the company of his maternal uncle. His life is a source of simplicity and communal harmony from the very beginning. When he used to sing Chaitra in Bihari Ji temple and practiced Shehnai in Vishnu temple and Mangala Maya temple of Varanasi. Bismillah Khan got his big break with the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938. He also played Shehnai on 15th of August 1947 from Red Fort in the presence of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Bismillah Khan gave many memorable performances both in India and abroad, where he was honored with so many awards. He also gave music in 2 movies, Gunj Uthi Shehnai and Sanadhi Apana. He was so fond of his motherland India, Banaras and the Holy Ganga that he refused to and ordered to be the head of Shehnai school in the USA. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded the India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. His life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. That's all from today's class, my dear students. If you have any problem related to this chapter, you are free to ask your queries in my online classes, and you can also text me on my WhatsApp number. Thank you, my dear students.